Hey there, folks. I'm Joe Crawford of artlung.com, and pretty much every day I do the CSS Battle Daily Target, and this is today's. Funny enough, I already did this. You can see I have a score there, um, and the recording failed. So I'm going to try something new that I've not done before. I'm going to try to use the redo key, which should be Apple Shift Z to go through my solution and narrate it. So here we go. Here goes nothing. Uh, okay, and then make sure I'm in the right window. Control Shift Z. There it is. So I started with the nested template, and which is the HTML and the body tag. Right now it's got yellow and black, which is the default that comes from the GitHub plugins. Let's do another. Oh, I undid and then I showed what it would look like to have nested with a star and star, because there had been a question on yesterday's video about the usage of the ampersand. So undo again, and then there's the ampersand. That's what it looks like. So the question was, is the ampersand basically the root selector? And in this case, it is. But the ampersand selector is worth learning about, worth diving into. Go on MDN and look for the nesting or the ampersand nesting selector to learn a little bit more of the nuance, and then experiment with it. Right, that's the way to learn. Worth experimenting. Let's keep going. Uh, Moving forward. Okay, I put light blue on the HTML element, and I put dark blue onto the body. I'm changing the margins and 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 the margins. So several different iterations to get the margins right. And then I decide that I'm going to go for a radial gradient, which you can see I misspelled with an equal sign and not a dash, but I made guesses about what the color stops are. Here they go. I'm 20 pixels, 40 pixels, 100 pixels. I discover my typo. I fix that. And then I decide I'm going to start this in the corner. I'll go in the corner and do 0, 100% and see, oh, that number's wrong. So then I adjust, adjust, adjust. I'm getting the right dimensions. Great. And then I decide, okay, so I want to remove the at. So rather than beginning in the bottom corner, and then it won't repeat, the goal is to get it to repeat. And so I set background positions. And I'm moving those around and moving those around and flailing and flailing. And you notice it's all just two stuff together. And the reason is that the default, and there it is, the default background size is auto, and that auto means the size of the containing element. It's not something we think about very much, but you can see that that auto doesn't change the display. That's the actual value. So, and you could use the precise pixel dimensions as well, and it would be the same thing. In this case, things are too stuffed together for the kind of grading we've got. So we need to adjust those things. And then that's the next thing I do. Like, well, let's try some different sizes. So here's 200%, 200%. So literally twice as big as the element in both dimensions. Uh, and so that you get that. And that doesn't seem exactly like what we've got. So then I adjust the background position, and then you see that at 0, 0, even though you've got that huge size, well, you only see one part of it. So then all the numbers need to be adjusted. So I try some background sizes and kind of get close to it. Move them around, move them around, move them around, and then adjust the background size to be 100% tall and no, 100% wide. So literally the width of this element, the body tag, and then 200% tall, so twice as big. So that's the background size. So it's this in this virtual space. That's the thing that worked. So I'll do another undo, undo, and I think that's minification, and then we're done. And I can show you the submission. Boom. And it'll be the identical score, which is above 700. That's a nice score. And we can nip and tuck and remove, for example, the final two braces, but I think it might give a new record, but it's very minimal change, right? These are the kind of small low key changes that do give you a little more points, and they matter of course, but they don't require the kind of understanding of CSS, right? They're more about the code golf aspect, and the code golf part is fun for me, but it's not my favorite part, and certainly not the part I emphasize during these videos. But go forth and get the best score you possibly can, for sure. I think the original video was about 11 minutes, and I've just run through it in 5.5 minutes. So not exactly cheating, but I did know it. Unfortunately, occasionally these recording issues happen, and I can't pretend that I've never seen it before because I did. Part of the fun for me is recording and watching myself make mistakes, because once you've practiced it, once you've done it once, well, I understand it perfectly, or I understand it a lot better. I think the more interesting thing is to fail, right? We that's the way we learn. We make mistakes and we try stuff and we adjust and we get it wrong, and sometimes, well, we have to take a whole different approach, and that's totally normal. That's how it goes. One of the things about YouTube that's a little bit weird is that we get all these prepared videos and people make things look easy, but they're practicing, right? We don't usually see people's practices. And that's, I think, I'm just trying to demystify. Well, and not just. I think demystifying things that seem magical is good. Like, we're human beings. That's all we are. Um, and that's great. Go make a web page. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. And see you around. Bye.